We want to write the following equation in slope-intercept form. We want to identify the slope of the y-intercept, and then we're going to graph it. Now this particular equation, this is already written in slope-intercept form. The only thing we have to do here is we're just going to put in a y in place of the f of x, since that's the same definition. Y is the same thing as f of x. So that part's done. We want to find the slope in the y-intercept. The slope is always the number that comes in front of the x. When you write your answer for slope, you're not going to include the x. You're only going to include the number in front of the x. Slope is just a number only. It's only 3/4. Y-intercept is always the number that comes after the x, and you want to use the same sign that's with it. So this is going to be -3. So now we have to use this information to draw a graph. The first thing that you want to do when you make a graph of this one is you want to first start by plotting the y-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be an actual point on the line itself. We're going to go down 3 units, and we're going to make a dot right there. That's where the graph is going to begin. So you have to get at least one more point on here. Once you have another point, then you can connect those, and that's going to be your finished graph. To do that, we're going to use our slope. Now the way the slope works is the top number is going to be your up and down movement. The bottom number is your left and right movement. So if they're both positive, that means that you're going to go up and you're going to go to the right. You're going to do that from the y-intercept. So from the y-intercept is -3. From here, because the top number is positive, we're going to go up 3 units to here. And then the bottom number is positive also. That means that we're going to go to the right. So we go this direction and we get another point right there. So therefore now we can draw a line through these and connect them, and therefore that's going to be our graph. Okay, now for part B, the equation the way it's written, it's not written in slope-intercept form, so we do want to do a little bit of work to that one first and get it into the proper form. So I really want to solve for y. To do that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the 6y on one side of the equation, and then everything else I'm going to move over across the equal sign. I'm taking the 4x across the equals and the 12 across the equals, and both of those are going to become negative when I do that. So I have -4x, and then I have -12. Now I need to solve for y by dividing everything through by 6. I get y equals, now -4/6, that's the same thing as -2/3. And then I have -12/6, that's -2. So this right here is going to be the proper slope-intercept equation. So now because it's in the proper form, I can indicate the slope on the y-intercept. Now the slope is going to be -2/3, the number that comes in front of the x. The number after the x, that's going to be your y-intercept, so that's going to be -2. So now I'm ready to start the graph. So when I do the graph, again, you always begin with the y-intercept. So I'm going to go down 2, and I'm going to make a dot right there. That's my y-intercept. Now, I'm going to use my slope to create another point that I can connect. Now, because I have a negative this time, I need to take a look at where I'm going to place the negative. So -2/3, that can be written either as the negative is going to go on top, or I can put the negative on the bottom. And that's important because that's going to determine which direction did I move. If the top number is negative, I'm going to move down. If the top number is positive, I'm going to go up. If the bottom number is negative, I'm going to go to the left. If the bottom number is positive, I'm going to go to the right. So from here, let's look at the first one. If I look at this one right here and use -2/3, that top number is negative, which means that from this point right here, I have to go down 2 units. The bottom number is positive, so then I'm going to go 3 places over to the right, and so now my second point is going to be right there, and I could connect those and I could finish my line. However, let's suppose that we instead wanted to put the negative on the bottom. Okay, well if I do that, that means that I start with -2, and I'm going to go up 2 because this top number is positive, and then the bottom number is negative, which means I'm going to move 3 places to the left. Well, if you notice, it didn't really matter which one of those I use because all 3 of these points are actually going to be on the same line. So it really doesn't matter which one of those that you use. Right here, this is going to be your finished line.